With a larger true story to delve into, Taylor Sheridan's Landman is grounded in real-world inspiration. In the Landman cast, Billy Bob Thornton plays Tommy Norris, and he leads a cast that includes Demi Moore, Larter, and Jon Hamm. Even though Tommy Norris is a completely fictitious character, Taylor Sheridan's TV characters are frequently based on real people, giving viewers a basic idea of what a genuine oilman may look and sound like. As viewers are thrown into a world of high-stakes Texas oil at several levels, from metropolitan CEOs to crisis management to the crews working the patch, Landman's first 2 episodes provide plenty of material for analysis. The creator of Yellowstone has, as usual, built his program with the promise of enjoyment in mind, but there is also a noticeable degree of frankness to the depictions that can only result from extensive research into the actual subject. Landman is an intriguing new series because Taylor Sheridan blends his trademark slick, fast-paced banter with a factual foundation. Christian Wallace's 12-episode series Boomtown serves as the inspiration for the new Paramount series, which demonstrates that podcasts are just as viable as books as a source for adaptation in today's media landscape. The podcast, which was released in late 2019, explores the current oil boom in the Permian Basin, one of the most prolific areas in the world for the energy sector. Like Cooper's experience in the first 2 episodes of Landman, Wallace spent a year working as a roughneck on drilling rigs in oil fields after growing up in Andrews, Texas. Boomtown examines the past of the area and makes sure that the current level of productivity is limited by framing the current oil boom from a historical perspective. When Thornton's Tommy Norris meets with local landowners in episode 2, he clarifies that the money will leave the area when oilmen like him do. Longtime ranchers and other business owners are forced to reevaluate their position in the area when an oil boom occurs, which is a dangerous game-changer for the area. Similar to the podcast, Landman looks at how the trillion-dollar oil industry affects the people who work in it. Exploring Boomtown's contents makes it very evident where Landman finds inspiration for a number of his concepts. Tommy goes to tell the family the news after Cooper's whole crew, all of whom are related, are murdered in a rig explosion in Landman's first episode. The Martinez family, who lost 3 generations of fathers in a single occurrence, was one of the topics covered in the episode. The local restaurants, which served as the model for the Bikini Coffee Shop in Landman Episode 1, are also examined in the podcast. Early in the 20th century, the Permian Basin, originally known as the Texas oil boom, became the most lucrative oil location in the United States. A huge oil reservoir was discovered in 1901 after an oil find near Beaumont, Texas, which led to a wave of land development that has hardly been matched in U.S. history. Before the turn of the century, Texas was mostly a rural state, but the oil boom caused cities like Houston, San Antonio, and others to grow quickly. It is impossible to overstate the significance of this event, which helped the United States surpass Russia as the world's top oil producer. This historical era is responsible for a large portion of the state's infrastructure and scenery, as shown in Landman. The success of the Permian Basin has fluctuated throughout time because to the risk associated with the oil business. There are a lot of things that might go wrong, but some booms have led to businesses bringing in so many people that the local areas would run out of homes and hotel rooms. According to an NPR story, a Baker Hughes study looks at how many oil drills have been operating in the Permian Basin each week since 2011. In late 2014, there were 568 rigs running in a single week, the highest number in the previous 14 years. In the spring of 2016, the data fell to 134, and shortly after the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020, it fell even lower to 117. Since then, it has gradually increased back to respectable levels. As of June 2023, 348 rigs were reported. According to the report, the oil economy thrives even though production is lower than it was in prior years. Since 2023, the overall number of rigs has remained stable in the low to mid-300s for a variety of reasons. Among the primary causes are labor limitations and supply restrictions, but investors' expectations of monetary returns rather than increased oil output are also to blame. Given the contemporary nature of Taylor Sheridan's Landman series, it is reasonable to presume that Tommy is coping with a comparable working habitat. If Sheridan looks into the geopolitical side of oil extraction in the Permian Basin, it will be interesting to watch. Landman is written intelligently enough to be credible, much like any other Taylor Sheridan television program. Several of the topics and ideas from Boomtown could be directly incorporated into the series as he co-created it with Christian Wallace. This contributes to the creation of an authentic environment, and elements such as character archetypes, work culture, and workplace jargon are probably derived directly from the kinds of people Wallace encountered during his adventures. Nevertheless, there are usually soap opera elements in Taylor Sheridan's productions, which are most likely not very realistic. For instance, there are undoubtedly many Tommy Norris-type characters in the actual oil sector, but they are certainly not as dramatic or amusing on a daily basis. There hasn't been much in the series thus far that feels completely outlandish. The rig explosion undoubtedly seemed grounded in reality and based on the Martinez family's previously recounted story. It might be a little Taylor Sheridan's TV flair to have an oil CEO kidnapped by the cartel and slyly escaping, but that's exactly what Landman needs. Thanks for watching. For more updates stay tuned, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel please.